let's move on to the second email today. And the second email today comes to us from Vincent T, who writes, "Hey, John, I was watching today's open mic." This email came in yesterday. "And I wanted to follow up on a question somebody asked about James Gunn directing the Flash movie. Do you actually think that could be in motion? If so, when do you think we could hear an announcement?" All right, so what Vincent is referring to is something that's kind of compiled over the last couple of days. It started the other day when Kiersey Clemons, who is going to be playing Iris West in the upcoming Flash movie, she was on a red carpet and caused a lot of confusion when she was asked about when the new Flash movie was going to start shooting, and she said the following: "No idea. We don't know yet. I mean, we have a little bit of an idea of who our director is, but I can't say that. I talk with Ezra Miller frequently, and we'll see. I'm not doing Flash for the rest of the year, so let's hope for 2019. Okay, I just want to bring our attention, and I talked about this the other day, but we just need to lay the groundwork here for where we're going with the James Gunn thing. The important part here that she says in her comment is about the director. Because remember, it wasn't long ago, it was just a couple of months ago, that they confirmed they have their directors, plural. They have their directors. They've officially confirmed it. Their directors are the guys who directed like National Lampoon's Vacation, that did not turn out so good, with the one with Christina Applegate and Ed Helms. That was just terrible. But anyway, so those guys are directed. That's John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein. Okay, John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein, those are the directors of The Flash. That was confirmed. They announced it. They put out press releases. It's confirmed. They're directing it. That was a few months ago. We've heard nothing about Flash's development ever since. And now one of the actresses from Flash comes out and says, I mean, we have a little bit of an idea of who our director, singular, is, but I can't say. But they just announced a few months ago, publicly, we have our directors, plural, blah, blah, blah. And now we have one of the cast saying, well, I have a little bit of an idea who our director is, but I can't say. What? Now, that is by no means an official confirmation that Daley and Goldstein are no longer directing The Flash. That's by no means an official statement saying they're not directing it anymore, but it certainly points towards that something's up. Because if you've already publicly said months ago, these two guys are our directors, it's public, it's official, everybody knows, and now you've got a cast member going, well, we have a sort of an idea who our director is, but I can't say. What? Okay, so clearly, not an official statement saying that Goldstein and Daley aren't directing, but it clearly raises questions, right? And we talked about that on the show. Clearly raises questions. So then now let's go to yesterday. Yesterday on Open Mic, which is the just open mic conversation we do here on my channel every afternoon, one of the viewers wrote in and said, hey, look, is it possible James Gunn could be directing The Flash? Now, before we just label that as a ludicrous notion, let's pump the brakes for a second here. Let's, for a minute, play in make-believe land for a second, okay? Let's look at what we know. What we know is that James Gunn is no longer directing for Marvel. We know that. What we know is, because of a report from The Hollywood Reporter, is that every studio has been lining up to offer James Gunn high-profile projects, including Warner Brothers. So that we know. We know James Gunn isn't directing for Marvel. We know Warner Brothers is one of the companies that has been pitching high-profile projects to James Gunn. We know that. Now, what else do we know? We know that one of the stars of The Flash has cast some doubt as to whether there might be some upheaval in the director position over there, and that we might know who our director is, but I can't say. So that's what we know. Anything beyond those three things that we know becomes speculation. All right? So let's just acknowledge that right off the top. We are now engaging in the fan favorite hobby of speculation. Speculation can be great, but let's be clear, this is speculation. This may be completely far-fetched, but because of those three things we know, I'm going to say this. I hadn't considered it before our viewer on Open Mic sent this in, but I'm going to say yes. I believe there is a possibility that Warner Brothers has signed up James Gunn to direct The Flash. I believe there is a possibility here that they are waiting until they can make an official announcement, but that Disney, having parted ways with James Gunn, Warner Brothers, I believe, swooped in, grabbed him up, removed Daley and Goldstein off of The Flash, and they're putting James Gunn on it. Now, I'll say this. On the one hand, that fits all three facts that we know. James Gunn being the new director of The Flash fits the fact that he's no longer with Disney, fits the fact that we know that Warner Brothers was pitching him significant projects, and would fit the fact that we've got this actress saying that there's some question about who's directing it. James Gunn directing The Flash fits all three of those criteria. Now let's go to the other side of the coin, though. The other side of the coin is that there are 25 other possible scenarios that fit those three pieces of criteria. The James Gunn one fits. James Gunn directing Flash does fit the circumstances that we have, particularly these three pillars that we know. It fits. But the reality is there's 25, maybe 2,500 other scenarios and possibilities that would also fit into these three pillars that we have. No longer directing for Disney. Warner Brothers is making him a pitch, and there's some doubt being cast on the whole director situation. It's not just the James Gunn possible scenario that fits it. There are many, many others that possibly submitted that fit into it. So when you ask the question, is it possible this is really happening? I'm going to say, yeah, it's possible. It's possible. Is it likely? Well, now that's a different question. Is it likely that James Gunn is going to be directing The Flash for Warner Brothers and DC? I don't know that I would say it's likely. I would probably lean towards it's unlikely. So I will plant my flag in it's possible, for sure. But I'm just not comfortable saying that it's likely because there's just too many other possible scenarios. Not to mention, remember, Warner Brothers isn't the only studio lining up to offer James Gunn projects. Other studios are too. And remember, it could be that Daley and Goldstein are still directing The Flash and the Flash actress just radically misspoke. That's possible too. So is it possible? Yup. Is it likely? I'm not so sure. But that leads us into today's question of the day. And my question of the day for you guys to answer now is simply this. Could James Gunn be directing The Flash for DC? Could he be doing that? And you got three options. Yes, he is. No, he isn't. Or possibly kind of 50-50. Myself, I voted for possibly 50-50. Here's how you cast your vote. Look in the description of this video. And in the bottom of the description, you'll find a link to today's question of the day. Click on that link, jump on over there, and let your voice be heard. All right, so let's just see where we're at right now. Because I know as soon as I announce it, a bunch of you guys start voting. So right now, we've had over 120 of you have already casted your vote. And here's what we got right now. By a big margin, 60.3% of you right now are saying it's possible, it's a 50-50 shot that James Gunn could be directing. 23.1% of you are saying no, James Gunn is not directing. We're getting way carried away here. And 16.5% of you are saying, nope, this fits. James Gunn is directing The Flash. So once again, 16.5% of you are saying, yes, he's directing. 60.3% of you are saying it's possible, 50-50. And 23.1% of you are saying, no, he's not directing it. You guys got 24 hours to vote here. On tomorrow's John Campea show, we will visit the results of this poll. So go cast your vote, let your voice be heard, and we'll revisit this issue tomorrow. All right, let's move on now with the next emailed in topic.